In this video, we're diving into a critical geopolitical issue that's been flying under the radar, but demands our attention. Turkey's anti-India positioning. Under President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Turkey has taken a sharp anti-India stance, driven by ideological ambitions and bold geopolitical moves. Let's break it down and unpack why this matters, not just for India, but for the broader global stage. Buckle up, because this is a complex story with diplomacy, covert operations, and military deals at play. First up, let's talk about Erdogan's ambition to lead the Muslim world. Erdogan has made no secret of his desire to position Turkey as the spiritual and political leader of Muslims globally. He's even said, quote, "Turkey is the only country that can lead the Muslim world." That's a big claim. His vision? A neo-Ottoman revival, channeling the influence of the old Ottoman Empire and even flirting with the idea of a modern caliphate by 2023, the Turkish Republic's centenary. But here's the catch. Arab powers like Saudi Arabia aren't exactly thrilled about Turkey stealing their spotlight. So, Erdogan's strategy has been to focus on non-Arab Muslim populations, like those in South Asia, including India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Malaysia. Why India? With nearly 200 million Muslims, India is a massive constituency in Erdogan's global vision. His outreach has gotten bolder, especially since India revoked Jammu and Kashmir's autonomy in 2019. Turkish analysts admit this isn't just about Kashmir. It's about Erdogan's dangerous ambitions to rally Muslims worldwide under his leadership. By styling himself as the champion of Muslim causes, Erdogan has put Turkey on a collision course with India, a Hindu-majority democracy. Whenever a Muslim-related issue pops up, Kashmir, domestic policies, Turkey takes an anti-India stance. This ideological drive shapes everything: diplomacy, strategy, and even covert operations. Let's zoom in on one of Turkey's most blatant moves, backing Pakistan on Kashmir at international forums. After India scrapped Article 370 in 2019, ending Kashmir's special status, Turkey became Pakistan's loudest cheerleader on the world stage. Erdogan was practically the only head of state, aside from Pakistan's PM, to raise Kashmir at the UN General Assembly from 2019 to 2022. In his speeches, he slammed India's actions and demanded a resolution based on justice and UN resolutions. India, unsurprisingly, hit back, calling it gross interference in its internal affairs. Turkey doesn't stop at the UN. It uses the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC, to push anti-India resolutions, framing Kashmir as a Muslim issue. In 2020, Erdogan told Pakistan's parliament, "Kashmir is as important to Turkey as it is to Pakistan," comparing it to the historic Gallipoli battle. Talk about dramatic. India retaliated by freezing defense deals with Turkey. Even during Indo-Pak skirmishes, Turkey plays advocate, offering to mediate, while subtly legitimizing Pakistan's narrative. Interestingly, in 2023, Erdogan skipped mentioning Kashmir at the UN, a tactical move, some say, to cozy up to India for other goals. But don't be fooled. Turkey's track record is clear. It's all in on Pakistan's side, challenging India's sovereignty at every turn. It gets shadier. Turkey's not just playing the diplomatic game, it's funding Islamist networks targeting India. Indian intelligence has flagged Turkey as a hub for anti-India subversive activity, second only to Pakistan. Since 2020, reports have exposed a Turkish effort to radicalize Indian Muslims from Kerala to Kashmir. Turkish state-backed NGOs are acting as fronts, funneling money to radical groups like the banned Popular Front of India and Kashmiri separatists tied to Jamaat-e-Islami. Here's how it works. Turkish organizations finance religious seminars in India, arrange all-expense-paid trips to Turkey for young radicals, and even offer millions in funding to promote hardline Islamism. Indian investigators found that Kashmiri separatist leader Syed Ali Shah Gilani was bankrolled by Turkey for years, fueling his secessionist agenda. Turkey's also been linked to protests against India's Citizenship Amendment Act in 2019-2020, using cash to stir unrest and embarrass India globally. Indian officials believe Turkey's spy agencies are coordinating with Pakistan's ISI, opening a second front to destabilize India from within. This isn't just ideology, it's a deliberate strategy to weaken India's social fabric. The covert game has only ramped up between 2023 and 2025. Indian intelligence is on high alert about Turkey's long arm in South Asia. The Turkish embassy in New Delhi is reportedly forging ties with local NGOs and activists who align with Erdogan's Islamist agenda, offering sponsored trips to Turkey to turn them into anti-India voices. Turkey's also shielding Pakistan at global bodies like the Financial Action Task Force, helping Islamabad dodge blacklisting for terror financing, much to India's frustration. There's even evidence of Turkish intelligence, MIT, teaming up with Pakistan's military media wing to spread anti-India propaganda, especially in the Middle East. In Nepal, Turkish NGOs like the IHH, tied to Erdogan's regime, are setting up mosques and madrasas near India's border, potentially to infiltrate Muslim communities. This is Turkey building a proxy network right at India's doorstep. Meanwhile, India's 2022 ban on the Popular Front of India exposed its funding trails to Turkey and Qatar. Ankara's influence operations, recruiting influencers, funding agitators, and amplifying propaganda, are at an all-time high, posing a multifaceted threat to India's security. Now, let's talk about the Turkey-Pakistan military axis. Erdogan's Turkey is arming Pakistan with cutting-edge weapons, shifting the balance in South Asia. A prime example is the $1.5 billion Milgem warship deal. Turkey's building 4 advanced corvettes for Pakistan's navy, with tech transfers to boot. The first ship, PNS Babur, was delivered in 2023, boosting Pakistan's naval power in the Indian Ocean. Pakistani officials admit this is about countering India. In the air, Turkey's supplying armed drones like the Bayraktar TB2 and the advanced Akıncı combat drones, which can carry heavy weapons. Despite Pakistan's economic woes, these deals are a priority. Turkey's also upgrading Pakistan's F-16s and collaborating on drone R&D. Army-to-army ties are tightening too, with joint exercises and officer exchanges. For India, this means more sophisticated threats, drones, stealthy ships, and faster tech diffusion between Turkey and Pakistan. In a future conflict, Turkey could be Pakistan's force multiplier, supplying arms or expertise. This axis, alongside Pakistan's China ties, is a growing headache for New Delhi. Finally, Turkey's waging a global propaganda war against India. State-run outlets like TRT World and Anadolu push anti-India narratives, alleging human rights abuses in Kashmir or rising Islamophobia. A 2023 report revealed these outlets hired Pakistani and Kashmiri journalists to spread disinformation, coordinated with Pakistan's ISI. They amplify unverified stories, paint India's counter-terror ops as oppression, and spotlight issues like the Delhi riots to brand India as anti-Muslim. Publishing in multiple languages, they target the Middle East and Muslim diaspora. Turkey also backs Islamist NGOs, like the Union of NGOs of the Islamic World, which slam India's Kashmir policies as a threat to global peace. These networks, tied to global Islamist figures, amplify anti-India rhetoric under the guise of civil society. This isn't just media. It's a calculated effort to tarnish India's image, sway foreign opinion, and isolate New Delhi. By framing India as hostile to Muslims, Turkey advances its leadership ambitions while pressuring India on Kashmir and minority rights. So, what does this all mean? Turkey under Erdogan is a strategic challenge for India. Driven by Islamist ideology and neo-Ottoman dreams, Turkey's aligned with Pakistan to undermine India. Diplomatically at the UN and OIC, militarily through defense deals, and covertly by funding radicals and propaganda. This NATO power, paired with China-backed Pakistan, forms a new axis of pressure on India. New Delhi's fighting back, strengthening ties with Turkey's rivals like Greece, Cyprus, and Gulf states, and calling out Ankara's meddling. But the stakes are high. Turkey's actions threaten India's unity, security, and global standing. This is a rivalry to watch in the 2020s. India needs vigilance on diplomacy, internal security, and military fronts to counter Turkey's multi-pronged offensive.